Hello, it's Amy with Paper Moon Journals. I have another fun mask make project using 6x6 papers by Prima. These really pretty Valentine ones designed by Frank Garcia. Any of his 6x6 Valentine pads would work, or you could maybe even cut down your 8x8 to suit. I've made some little tuck spots with ephemera in it, little junk journal. They're super easy to make. They're just stapled together. So whether you're a seasoned crafter or a beginner, I think this might be the Valentine project for you, especially if you like mask makes and making cute little Valentine gifts. I love how this came out and I can't wait to show you how to make it. You just need a few supplies. I'm using some of these tags that I make left over from scraps. When I have strips left over from scrapbooking, I just glue them shut in half, punch them with my tag top punch and get them ready. So I'll be using some of those. I've brought over my tag top punch and a couple scraps. They're strips. They are 2.5 inches wide. They were actually 3 inches. I just cut them to be a little bit smaller. And then I have some that I've already made, just anytime I have a stack of those scraps that are long strips waiting, then I just glue them shut to make them nice and durable and put an eyelet in them, have them on a ring all nice and ready. I like to round the corners on the bottoms of those, so I've gone off and gotten my corner rounder as well. Let's get this other piece in the tag top punch. Still a favorite tool for me. That one still needs an eyelet and it doesn't look like I got it in there centered. So I'll probably want to trim that down a little. I have planned in this mask make to make 3. I tend to like to make things 3 at a time. So we'll make 3 of these little mini junk journals at a time. And then with 2 tags each, that means you'll want 6 tags or other ephemera to use in the pockets. We'll need at least 2 tags per project because one of the tags I like to use to decorate the cover. Let me clear some room and we'll get ready for the next step. For the inside pages, I like to use tea-stained paper. You could probably also use scraps. I'll show you how I cut the sheet down into a fun little booklet full of different sized pages. I start with just a letter-sized sheet of paper and I cut it to 5 inches wide. And then cut the off-cut piece into 2 5-inch wide pieces. And then the tall piece that we cut 5-inch wide, we'll want to cut those into 4-inch tall pieces. So cut these into 4-inch tall. And then I just folded up all of those papers and those will be the inside of our little junk journal. We get quite a few pages and it's fun because we end up with a few different sizes that you can mix and match together into an arrangement that you find pleasing. The best part about this is that we just staple it into the cover when we're ready. So I already have 2 little bundles ready since we're going to make 3. And I went through making a bundle with you. There's our 3rd bundle of pages. And then scoring our base for our little journal cover out of our 6x6. These are already scored, but I'll go through scoring them with you. You can see how easy it is. So we score at 4.5 inches and then at 3 inches on all 3 pieces. 4.5 across the bottom and 3 inches down the center. Or 3 inches down the center and then 4.5 inches across the bottom. All right, now all of our base pieces are ready. We can move that out of the way and we're ready to start assembling. Let me get my bone folder. We want to burnish down our score marks that we made and then miter the corners for our pockets that will have 1 pocket on the front and back inside cover. I cut this one a little bit too small. I recommend a less severe angle, and for the next two I do. That's another one of the nice things about a mass make. That, and that then when a bunch of family comes over for my birthday party, I plan to give everybody that comes to my party one of these little mini Valentine journals, or one of the other Valentine mass makes that I made. I think I already mentioned I'm going to give my mother a bunch of the flip-up notepads to give to the people in her crochet group. I'm so glad my mother's still with us and, you know, up and active and having a good time with her crochet group. And so, yeah, I'll give her something she can gift to them. So after we have our cover mitered and ready to go, let's just tuck the pages inside and go ahead and staple them in there. Why not? It's that easy. Let me grab my stapler. And you just want to line up where your staple's gonna punch with the crease. I like to use 2 staples. You could try 3, I guess. I think 2's just fine. And that's it. We've bound in the pages. Now let's go ahead and glue up our little flaps into pockets. The glue's not really coming out here. Every time. If you watch many of my videos, you'll notice that, like, at the start of every one, pretty much, I have to get my glue worked free. Okay, I glue that into a pocket and then do the same thing to the front. This could go either way. You could have either side be the outside of the cover. I think that's really fun with the 2-sided papers, makes it so pretty. Now we can set this one aside and work on our second one. You could call that done if you wanted. That could just be a simple little notebook with less decoration or embellishment. If that was your style and your preference, this could be really fast. And again, if you've watched my videos or if you know me, I won't be able to stop there. I don't like to stop until I love it, and it's something that I would be excited and proud to give as a gift. And I think I'll make that side the outside. Burnish that down, get it nice and firm. Make it easier to see that score line when I go with my stapler. I used to have some copper colored staples and that looked really nice, and I don't think it cost any more than just getting the silver colored ones. I used all of those up. Okay, here's our second one. We've bound in the pages there. Set that aside and we're ready to do the last one, just so that you get to see. The other thing I think is nice about the mass makes and making 3 is that you get to see me make them a few times in a row, so you really get a good handle on what it is I'm doing and how you can redo it. Here we go. I've also made these as a little gift card holder too, where you just leave the pocket, in one of the pockets is for the gift card, and then in the other pocket put a decorative tag and not add any pages. Same size, 6x6, same idea. Much flatter and totally different look, really. Okay, we've got our last little bundle of pages ready. You could also use scraps of scrapbooking paper that you had handy and nearby. That would look great. Okay, that's it. It's that easy. We've made 3 of our little booklets and we're ready to start decorating them. I like to decorate the cover first. And I want to copy or use as inspiration the sample project that I made, and it had a tag on the cover. I'll bring that over in just a second here so you can see what it looks like, I think. But it had a bow through the eyelet at the top, and then I decorated the tag and glued it onto the cover. The sample one, I made a lot more layers and made it more elaborate. You can make these more or less elaborate depending on your taste and the amount of time that you have and how much you think the people will appreciate it as well. If I was making these to give to younger people, you know, I might not make them as frou-free or frou-frou. I'd maybe tone it down a little bit and make it simpler. Use maybe some Echo Park papers that were less artistically rendered and a little more juvenile and cutesy. Like those cute little micro mini Valentine albums, the 3x3s. If you haven't seen that video, you should check it out. It's really cute. So I'm using cut-aparts. That little dish of cut-aparts is from 8x8 and 6x6 pads from this paper collection. During editing, I should have popped up on the screen the name of the paper collection there. I don't have it in front of me while I'm doing the voiceover. And then I like to use some lace scraps across the bottom, some pom-pom or rickrack. You could use whatever you had, or nothing. You don't have to add lace if that's not your style. I get this crocheted lace from Amazon, and it's on my supplies list. It might not be a direct link under the video, but I have a link to the regular full supplies list, and I know that my favorite crocheted lace I get from Amazon is on there. Let's find some cut-aparts and ephemera from the cut-apart sheets to tuck into the pockets. I need to get these and spread them out a little so I can see what's here. I have some that are bigger and some that are smaller. Some I think just make nice ephemera right in the pocket, and some of them I should use to make some tuck spots. I think I'll glue this on top and make an upper tuck spot on this page. Why don't I speed up my decorating of it? I don't want you to get bored and click off if I can help it. This really is a great scrap busting project because you can use so many of your small scraps to decorate and layer and mat up these tiny little tags that I have here. And I hope that you'll be using your scraps that you have to help decorate yours and to make tags for yours. You can see some of the ephemera becomes tuck spots and some becomes ephemera. I've got some paper flowers here we can use to decorate the cover. And then this first one is done. Tie a bow on it. Just going to glue the ribbon down in the back and set that aside to dry. We're ready to start decorating our second one. I've got one of the longer tags. I've cropped it down to decorate the cover. I'm going to tie some ribbon through the top instead of lace this time. Some seam binding ribbon. And let me sort through my cut-aparts from the paper collection. Find ones that fit that I like. There's a real tiny one that fits that tiny tag. That's fun. Add some rickrack or lace to decorate it if you like. Some glitter is always nice. I like to come back and glitter it when everything else is all done. And that way, waiting for the glitter to dry isn't so frustrating. Since I'm not waiting to work on it, well, it's already done by then. There's some little postage stamp cut-aparts. I have two different Valentine Prima paper collections that were both Frank Garcia, and I have a mix and match of the cut-aparts in this little dish since I was working with both paper collections this month. Smashing my stash. I know the goal was to smash my 12 by 12 stash, and I've done a pretty good job of that, but most of my Valentine papers were not 12 by 12. So a lot of my Valentine projects are 6 by 6 or 8 by 8 projects. 6 by 6 is the smash our stash goal for February though, so that'll be nice. I've slowed it down a little here while we finish decorating this cover. And then when I start looking for tuck spots inside, I'll speed it up again. I hope this will give you some ideas and you can see how really fun and fast it is. It was maybe 30 minutes without speeding anything up to make these three. 3 and 30. That might be a fun challenge. Mass make seems really popular. I'm not sure people would really understand my goal with 3 and 30. And if you're not familiar with the mass make, the idea is that you just sit and make a whole mass of something for later use. A lot of times it's for use later in, say, maybe your journal projects, and you keep a stash of things pre-made and on hand ready. I like to make my things for each project as I go, and my goal for making these, I think as I said at the beginning, is to give out as party favors at my birthday party, which is at the end of January. And then people can use them to keep Valentine notes in, or they can re-gift it as a Valentine gift to someone they know or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited because my family hasn't come up to see my house in a few years, and my office is new, so they'll come see my office and my house. Very exciting for me. So here I'm making another tag by gluing that scrap shut to reinforce it, and then sticking it in my tag top punch. I'll be cropping that down and putting an eyelet. Why don't I check back with you here? All right, I went away to add an eyelet and some lace, and then also changed my mind about which cut apart was going to be on this tag. I decided this one looked nicer to me. I preferred it better. And we'll use that on the cover here. I think this really adds some fun, interest, and dimension in a way that's pretty fast and easy. But it's a little bit more interesting than just layering up our cut aparts. Gonna go back to my trusty pink lace here. I'm loving the pink crocheted lace. It's just what I brought over, really. I need a couple tags for inside, so I've gone back to my pre-made ones. They're a little bit thinner, the ones that I had from other scraps just on that ring. And I'll use these to decorate this project. I'll add a seam binding ribbon bow, and then find a smaller cut apart to decorate this one. Okay, let me speed up the decorating of this last one. But again, you could see how quite easily you could sit and make 6 in an hour or a dozen in a couple hours in less than an afternoon. You could easily sit and make a huge stash. And again, I don't do craft fairs, or haven't done craft fairs. This is something I do on the evenings and weekends as my hobby, making and selling them. And I don't have the time really for craft fairs. But I suspect these might do well if you price them right. I think they're really cute. They're not just recovered, purchased notepads. The little tea stained paper inside and the personal touches, I think, really show. And I would like to think that people would pay maybe at least $5 or $6 for this, perhaps more. Again, if you do go to craft fairs, I'd love your feedback on what you think that these should be sold for. And if you give it a try, do they do well? If you have to add shipping and Etsy fees and things like that on top of them, I just don't I think I could price them fairly unless I sold them in bundles. But yep, these ones are already destined. They're birthday party favors. Just needed to glue down that last ribbon. I love them. I think they're pretty. I hope you do too. Please comment below. I'd love to know how much you like the project. Tag me if you make anything on any of your social media accounts. As always, thank you so much for watching, and please have a wonderful day.